Hello friends, welcome back to the channel. I hope everyone is doing well. Today we have another fun tutorial. Here we have the watermelon bandana headband. This is I would say the usual bandana headband that you would find, one that ties. It is still the simple triangle shape, but of course it looks like an adorable watermelon. And I am super excited to show this pattern to you guys, so let's get started and head into supplies. Here we have the supplies that you'll be needing to make this fun watermelon headband bandana. You're going to need 4-weight or worsted weight yarn. I have some red here. I will be using the same red, green, and black that I used for the headband. This is an old Red Heart Super Saver. I'm not sure what this one is, but you can use whatever red, green, and black you have around. You will need about 40 grams total. Majority of that will be red. So make sure you at least have, I would say, 35 grams of red. And like I said, it's a worsted weight or a 4-weight. You will need an eye hook. This is a 5.5. And it is a Clover Amour. I love these. They're ergonomic. They're super comfortable. If you need help finding these, I'll link it down below. A ruler. If you're not making this for yourself, if you're making it for a friend and you need to know what size to make it, you will need a ruler as well as their head size from about the bottom of one earlobe over your head to the bottom of your other earlobe. That's about the size that the triangle itself is, and then you'll add the ties on afterwards to make it the rest of the length. A stitch marker might be helpful if you've never used the moss stitch before, especially the corner to corner, because you will be increasing on one end at a time, or alternating ends. You will also need a darning needle to sew in your ends, as well as a pair of scissors. So grab your supplies and let's get started. Alright, to begin, if you do not know how to do the moss stitch, that is totally fine. I will go through with you step by step each of the rows as we go along, but if you would like a little bit heads up, I'll link a video down below by another creator for a tutorial for the corner to corner moss stitch. Granted, this is corner to corner, but it does flow like a moss stitch in that it is a single crochet and a chain 1, and the single crochets go into the chain 1. If that doesn't make sense to you, that is totally fine. I'm going to go through it, but in order to start, we do need to do a slip knot. So go ahead and do a slip knot. Leave a fairly decent tail so that you can sew it in later. To begin, we're going to chain 3. 1, 2, 3. And then we're going to single crochet into the first chain. So this is the third chain, the second chain, the first chain. I'm going to flip it over and we're going to go into this bump right here. I think that just helps the edge look nice. So you're going to yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2. So that is your first single crochet and your first row essentially. Next you're going to chain 2 and turn your work. That's how you're going to start every row, is you're going to chain 2. Next, you're going to jump over your single crochet. That is your single crochet right there. It's a bit hard to see because it's on the edge, but we're going to skip over that and we're going to go into this gap over here. This is your chain 2, and we're going to increase. So we're going, when I say increase, that means we're going to single crochet, chain 1, single crochet into the same stitch. That's what it should look like. And that's the end of that row. And we're going to repeat that row for every row essentially until we get to a color row, or a changing of the color row. Alright, so start of the row, chain 2. Starting this row, we're going to do 1 single crochet into the first chain stitch. So this gap right here is from that chain. So the single crochet, chain 1, single crochet. So here we have a single crochet, chain 1, and then when we go into the chain 2 space right here, we're going to increase again. So single crochet, chain 1, single crochet into the same space. So that is row 3, and we're going to do one more before we change colors to add our black row, which will be our seeds. So chain 2, flip it over, and we're going to do one single crochet into this chain space, chain 1, another single crochet into this chain space, chain 1, and then we're back to the chain 2 space at the beginning of the last row, and we're going to do an increase. So single crochet 1, chain 1, single crochet. So that's what you should have. So here's row 1, here's row 2, here's row 3, and here's row 4. So this row we're going to introduce our seed color, which for me is black. You're more than welcome to do this in cantaloupe colors, which would be like peach with white seeds. Go for it. I would love to see that. If you want to tag me, I'm on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, all of the socials, and you can tag me at MixMatchMaggie. I think my TikTok is different, but that's okay. So the next row, we're going to still start the same way. So chain 2, flip. We're going to go into the chain 1 space. You might be fooled and think that that is the chain 1 space because it is a big open space, but it's actually after this line. It's actually right here. So right there, if that makes sense. So we're going to go into there. We're going to drop our red stitch, drop our red yarn, grab our black yarn, and you can either make a slip knot or you can just fold it over and loop it around your hook, but make sure that there is a decent tail so you can sew it in later. And then you're going to pull it through like you're continuing to make a single crochet, and then you're going to grab your working yarn, yarn over, pull through both as if you were finishing your single crochet. I would not carry the black tail with you, the black yarn tail, because it'll show up on the back, but I do recommend carrying the red yarn along the back because you won't really see it. I can show you after we finish this row. So we have our first single crochet here, then we're going to chain 1, go to the next chain space, single crochet, chain 1. So here I am back here carrying the red yarn. I'm going to go into the next one, single crochet, chain 1, still carrying the red yarn, and you can pull it a little bit because you don't want it to like stick out and like get stuck on anything if you have like bobby pins in your hair. And then we are back to the chain 2 space, that's right here, and we're going to do an increase again, but we're going to stop halfway through and switch back to red, so be ready for that. So you're going to start with a single crochet and you're going to drop the black yarn, pick up your red yarn, finish that single crochet, you're going to make sure that when you do the last black single crochet that you're working around the red yarn as well, just so it doesn't create a weird angled piece of yarn. And then you're going to finish the stitch with the red, so it still looks like a black single crochet, and then you're going to chain 1 and you're going to do one more single crochet with the red. So that's what that looks like. And then I'm going to cut the black yarn, leave a bit of a tail so we can weave it in. And then you're going to just continue. If you want to weave it in now, that's totally up to you. I would probably wait until you're done a couple more rows, or just wait till you're all done crocheting. So after this, we're going to continue with our regular moss stitch. So it's chain 2 at the beginning of the row, turn your work, then you're going to go into the chain space with a single crochet, chain 1, go into the next space, and you're going to see this extra red line. That's just the yarn that you carry along the back. It's really not that noticeable when it's, you know, on top of your head. But like I said, if you do want to cut the red and the black every time you change, that is totally up to you. So next we're going to go, so here's the chain space, single crochet into the chain space, chain 1, single crochet into the next chain space, chain 1, single crochet into the next chain space, chain 1, and then we are back at our chain 2 space at the beginning of the row, and what we do then is a increase. So single crochet, chain 1, single crochet. So there's that row. Now the way that I did the spacing for the seeds is that every 5th row, and how you can count your rows is, use this, so we'll start down here. So this is the row we just did, or sorry, this is the row we just did, this one. So I count the single crochets, so 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we change to the black. So there's a V, that's 1 stitch. I know they alternate, and that's because you put the single crochet in the chain 1 space. So it's 1 here, 2 there, 3, 4, and then here's your change. And if you'd like to space them out differently, that is totally up to you. I think next time when I do this, maybe when I finish this bandana, I don't think I'm going to put this row up here. I might just continue with red and skip over that, but I don't really think it matters too much. So we're going to continue. I'm going to continue with you guys for we'll say 2 more rows, and then I'll meet back up with you when we do another change for the seeds. So all right, we are now back at the point where we're going to change colors again. So we have, we'll bring it closer, we have, so here's the seed stitch that we did with the black yarn. So here's 1, 2, 3, and 4. So that means for this 5th row, we're going to change to the black yarn again. And as you can see, it's building up fairly quickly. You know, I just did all of this on camera with you, and it only took about, you know, 5-6 minutes with me teaching you. So let's add the black. So again, we're going to start with the chain 2 and flip our yarn, and we're going to start a single crochet in the chain 1 space, but we're going to, with the red yarn, but we're going to finish it with the black yarn. So I've inserted into the chain 1 space, I've dropped the red yarn, and I picked up the black yarn. So there's that. Make sure you leave a tail so you weave it in later. Pull it through like you're doing the single crochet. Drop the tail and grab the working yarn, and you're going to yarn over and pull it through. And you might need to adjust it a little bit, pull the red yarn a little bit, but then make sure that the red yarn is still behind here so that we can follow it along and pick it back up at the end of the row. So I've chained 1, and then we're just going to continue with the moss stitch. So single crochet, chain 1, skip the single crochet, chain 1. Make sure you're pulling your working yarn across. Make sure it's not too tight, because that will affect this chain right here. So there's the yarn that you're carrying it across. and we've gotten to the end. So you're going to start a single crochet with the black yarn, and you're going to finish it with the red yarn. So you've dropped the black yarn, and you might need to pull this a little bit, and you might need to pull the yarn that you're carrying just so it's not all lumpy in the back. See how it just looks like a extra line back there, but it doesn't affect the look of it too much. Then you're going to single crochet, chain one, and you're going to single crochet again, and that's the end of that row. You're going to continue the pattern until you reach 31 rows, or until you get to the width that you need it to be. This one is about 17 inches across, and like I said, that's from behind one earlobe over the top of your head to the bottom of your other earlobe. Because anything else past that will just probably be hidden by your hair and will be used, you'll use the hair ties to reach like underneath your hair and around the back of the neck to secure the headband on. So you're going to continue with that. Feel free to go back in the video if you need a refresher on how to change from red to black or back from black to red, or if you just need a refresher on how to do the moss stitch corner to corner. And once you reach that, I'll meet back with you and we can add the green part and the ties on. Alright friends, we are back. I am finishing up my last row. As you can see, I did omit the last row of seeds, but I think it's still cute without it. So we are finishing up the last row. Still going to increase in the last chain 2 space, and then we are going to cut, leave a good sized tail, pull it through, and I have already sewn in all of my ends besides this one. We'll do this one real quick. Alright. That is done. And we're now done with the red, so wrap that up. And we are now going to switch over to the green. And you're going to start off by, we're not going to attach it immediately to the triangle yet. We're actually going to chain. And I chained 45, so you're going to start with this slip knot again. And like I said, I chained 45, so you're just going to yarn over, pull through, and you can do more or less than 45. It depends on how tight you do your chains. You can kind of just eyeball it, but if you want both sides to be even, just make sure you do the same for both sides. I'm just gonna, to save time, just gonna measure it up against the one that I have, and that's about perfect. Oh my gosh, it's crazy. Alright, so once you have the number of chains that you want, whether you counted or you're just doing it by measure, we're going to attach it to our triangle. So doesn't matter which side you attach it to, whether it's this side or this side, doesn't matter. We're going to do a standing double crochet. And how we're going to do that is you're going to wrap around the hook. So you should have the chain and then the yarn over. And you're going to insert it into the last, either the last single crochet that you did or into the chain 2 space, depending on which side you started from. I'm starting from the side where we did an increase, so I'm gonna go into the single crochet right here on the end. So under both loops. Alright, so you should still have the chain here, the yarn over. Here's the stitch that we're going through. You're going to yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. And that's going to be your double crochet. I'm going to do it one more time because it can be a bit confusing if you've never done a standing crochet before. Standing double crochet. So you have the chains here. You're going to yarn over, go into the first single crochet or the chain 2, whichever side you're starting on. You're going to yarn over, pull through the stitch, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, yarn over, pull through 2 loops. And there you have that. And then you're going to go across and you're going to double crochet into every chain space. So there's a chain space, and then every single crochet as you go across. So here's a chain stitch and a single crochet, chain stitch and a single crochet. So you're going to do that all the way across until you get to this end, and I'll meet right back up with you guys. Alright friends, we are back and we are at the other side now. So we have double crocheted all the way across, and I think it looks absolutely adorable. So we're finishing up on this side, so I have 1 single crochet left, and then I have the chain 2, and I'm just gonna double crochet in there, and then we are going to do the same number of chains, or about the same number of chains as we did on this side, and just crank them out. Doesn't have to be exact, doesn't have to be pretty. Alright, let's see what we're at. Alright, maybe a few more. Beautiful. Alright, then we're going to cut this off. Leave a little bit of a tail. Pull it tight. Gonna weave in our ends. It probably is best that you do weave in your ends. Another option might be to just tie a knot at the end. I haven't tested that though, so we're just going to weave in the ends. I usually do it on the back loops, so this is the front where the V stitches are. This is the back, and I kind of just weave it in and out of the little back bumps. Find that it hides it fairly well. You just don't want it to get caught in something or unravel. Alright, that's pretty good. Alright, and everything is all sewn in now. You can barely even see it. And that is everything. Alright guys, here we have our watermelon bandana. It is absolutely adorable. It looks great. It's adjustable to your size because of these straps, and I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial. I hope it was easy. If you have any comments, questions, concerns, feel free to drop them down in the description box below. I would also love to hear if you made one of these or any of my other patterns. I will have my patterns linked down below, as well as my socials if you want to tag me in anything. Feel free to send me a DM with pictures. I would love to see them. And yeah, I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Bye!